Howdy, my dudes. This is Random Fight Fan. This is video 3 of 3 regarding the changes I think GGG needs to make regarding uh, essentially how to make Path of Exile 2 the best game that it can be. If you haven't seen any of the other videos, I suggest checking them out as well. And after this one, I will also be putting out a video of things that I think they're doing extremely well. I don't want this to be taken as like hate or anything. This is meant to be constructive criticism, but without further ado, let's get into the video. Point number 23. On-death effects are entirely too relentless. As a screen full of circular explosions is around, like, you'll have entire screens of circular fire explosions around you. There's fire, chaos, and lightning orbs, including like the lightning dudes that follow you until they die from old age. And there's so many mobs waiting to explode for you when you progress to them that it feels like you're playing red light, green light, as you don't want to take that extra few steps forward when they're getting ready to pop. Like, maybe tone it back a little bit so you're not feeling like the most dangerous part about the mob is you picking up the loot. Point number 24. The Atlas system is fighting with itself. There's currently two main strategies, but there's no reason why they shouldn't be able to work together. Finding citadels on the Atlas takes like an absolute age, as I've talked about. Like, you can go extreme distances before any beams appear in the fog, and once they do appear, you need a path directly towards them, find all the towers in range, juice their waystone chance, juice the precursors, juice the towers themselves to get the citadel ready, and finally you get to run the citadel. It can take you literal hours to properly prepare a citadel, and all be lost because a mob spawns underground on the ritual altar. Yes, I'm salty about that one. And you get stun locked by the tornado and die. Yes, I know. I've cited a few times. I am not happy that's the way that I lost a complete citadel. And with that said, all this incentivizes going as fast as possible and not caring about the maps you run. However, if you want to get actually good loot drops and maps, you need to find corrupted areas, you need to cleanse it, you need to juice the towers around for magic find, as well as adding many game mechanics as you can, like getting all the delirium, the breach, the everything that you can, and hit them all on the map. And this completely contradicts what you need to do with the citadels because that takes time. There's no reason why they shouldn't be able to work together. If the towers weren't such an essential part of juicing maps, it would just feel better. I do like the current precursor system, but maybe they could find a different way to tweak it and, yeah, just make it so that you can blitz through a line without making you feel like none of your drops matter. Point number 25, the loot. Now, I do hope this is improved in 0.2G. I don't know when exactly it's going to be released. It was delayed at the time of recording this. But for right now, my point stands. It may be fixed when the video comes out, but right now my point stands. So I played far more than the average player. I have 2 characters in the 90s. I've built my character up to the point where it can one-shot T4 pinnacles, and it can also safely clear the hardest of maps. I pump all my towers and roll all my maps for massive magic find, increased number of rares, and despite this, I've had literally 4 or 5 divines drop this entire league. I've had 2 perfect jeweler orbs drop and 0 high-end uniques. All of my income has been made from bubblegum currency and trading. A person should not be this restricted by their drops. Like, it's ridiculous. I completed my first T18 map before having a single divine drop or a perfect jeweler orb drop. I did it with 4 links. People can't be expected to struggle for that long before being able to properly upgrade their gear. This pairs very poorly with how rough early game Splinter drops are. I'm talking before you've done Simulacrum and before you've done your Breachstones. Point number 26. Why do we move so slow? Thunder's Leap could have felt good if it weren't for the massive increased attack time. Like, yeah. I do not understand why Thunderous Leap has plus 1.1 seconds to total attack time. If it is plus a half a second, sure, but as it stands, it makes it feel just as slow as walking. Blink could have felt good if it didn't give our dodge roll a 4 to 5 second cooldown. Like, seriously, that's not how you spell blink. I guess I don't have blink. But yeah, blink, if you could just dodge roll between casts of blink, it would feel so much better. And on top of that, there's the Roa that could have been good if it gave move speed or let the fear meter go down without having to get off and get back on, or if it made you not dismount every couple of seconds when you need to interact with an object in certain maps. Like, everything we have as options for better mobility are heavily restrictive and have no reason for it. This is made worse by having such slow base move speed, very few ways to increase it, and every bit of the environment is designed to slow us down even more. Hell, even Rage has internal cooldowns between hits and falls off incredibly fast. It just doesn't make sense why it's slowing us down so much. And there's also the bot prevention urns that block pathways in certain areas, like Sekimus, when you get to the fourth. Yeah, I think it's the fourth area. Yeah, it's just. It's kind of ridiculous how many things are designed to slow you down. And now that brings us into point number 27, bots. Seriously, the bots. If you're wanting to fix league economy, don't worry about drops, don't worry about anything else. Just deal with the bots. They're everywhere, and they've been this way since like old school RuneScape. They buy up the cheat items on the market so that the average player can't get them. They farm 24/7 with the most efficient methods possible, and they are so obvious to spot that it's a wonder they haven't been weeded out. It's the exact same type of system that has been in use, like I said, since old school RuneScape, so please find a way to deal with it. I don't know the answer to this. That is not my department of expertise, but please, this needs to be fixed. It's the number one thing that is making it harder for all players. Fix the bots. Point number 28. I know the devs think parry feels great in PoE 2 because they tested it a bit while leveling. But if they want a system that truly feels great, you need to test things out in T4 Simulacrum and see how well it works there. T4 Simulacrum should be the base point, because if it's at the content where you're getting just absolutely swarmed the most and it still works, then you know you have a good system in play. Now, point number 29. Stop trying to fix what isn't broken. Crafting, for example. I know that the devs don't like crafting in PoE 1, but the players who use it love it. You don't need to understand the deep intricacies of it to know that, hey, when I want to have extra cold damage on my gear, I can craft it on, and boom, you have it. That feels really good. You don't need to know about meta crafting or blocking mods. You just, you don't need to really know much to like the idea that if you swap some gear that, I mean, these are corrupted, so I wouldn't be able to swap it. Say I swap gear and I don't need the fire resistance anymore, but say I need lightning res. I could swap this fire to lightning res with harvest crafting. Easy thing right there, and it feels incredible. I know they think the runes are it, but it's not. There's also, for mapping, the people who like to spam Mesa, Jungle Valley, and City Square did that because they actually enjoyed those maps. It was efficient, they were good layouts, they felt good, they felt rewarding, and spamming invitations is another way to hammer bosses that you want to do. Being able to run those maps over and over and over actually reward the player for enjoying the content they're playing. Let the boss enjoyers be able to target boss maps, and let the let the map blasters be able to target the blasting maps. For the league mechanics, please stop trying to slow them down. Even still, strong boxes are slow. Rituals feel really unrewarding. Delirious mirrors and maps drop like no splinters at all, and breaches spawn almost no mobs in maps that aren't wide open. They need to be tweaked in a way that they work in all their maps if you're not going to allow us to choose the maps we want to play. And for skills, why can't a two-handed sword or axe user use Rake? And why can't a mace user use Ice Strike? And why can't anything that isn't a quarterstaff put their weapon away to use Hand of Triula? Having skills, again, be on specific weapon types doesn't feel good. Being them to be used on various weapon types does feel good. Now, my point number 30, just let some things be OP. This isn't a PvP game. People go into ARPGs to get that power fantasy. Let them attribute stack to scale ridiculous damage. Let them blink across the screen with hyper optimized builds, and let them clear the screen with one ability. Let them build an unkillable tank, and honestly, there's nothing that feels better than when a person has a build concept in mind, and after putting in the time, putting in the effort, and putting it together, that it actually works. The endgame uniques are so rare and expensive that having these chase concepts in mind is actually always a good thing. Point number 31, bring back jewel slots. They were a way for players to fine tune their build, to dive deeper into strengths that the tree may not have provided. Now there's so few slots that the jewels can't open up entirely new build avenues, and it's stifling build diversity. Point number 32 is we really do actually need an auction house or a trade system, some way to trade between players without having to go to the hideout. Going to the hideout, messaging a player, maybe someone is AFK or literally just hoarding items. It makes it so that there's entirely too many items going untraded because a person cannot be at their computer for 24 hours a day. This system was in place with the early versions of the PS4 for Path of Exile 1, so it's definitely a thing that GGG can do. They even allowed for bartering and messaging between the system and having buyout prices for items. It would have been universally accepted and loved as the currency exchange with Alba here. Like seriously, there's no reason not to have it. And finally, point number 33, don't waste players' times. This has been alluded to in other comments, but so many things could be done to massively improve the quality of life of the game. Small things like splinters could be auto-picked up or dropped as full stacks once their event is completed. And I obviously lean towards auto-picked up because delirious maps, not the mirrors, don't have an end time, so they wouldn't be able to drop at the end. The current atlas requires a lot of rolling precursors, maps, and planning on your route. This makes us stay in the hideout even more. Because we have to filter, reroll maps, and spend so much time traveling, the time rerolling incentivizing us just to flip and trade all day as our current way to make currency. If you want to blast, it's almost like you're nerfing yourself. But yeah, that is my list. I hope that this is taken in good faith and with the right message in mind and not just meant to shit on GGG. These are meant to be productive criticisms to improve the games that we love. I really think that they are on the right track. There's just a lot more that needs to be done, and I hope it gets done. Either way, I've been Random Fight Fan. You've been my wonderful dudes. If you like it, sub. And if you didn't, don't. Either way, I appreciate you all. See you guys.